Welcome to the Millionaire Maker Show, a podcast helping online coaches monetize their life's work and scale their businesses to create more time, more money, more freedom, and more impact. Now, with over 20 years of business building, coaching, and consulting experience, here's your host, author, speaker, and creator of the Millionaire Maker coaching funnel, Lindsey Anderson.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Millionaire Maker Show. I am your host, Lindsey Anderson, and I'm really excited to be here today. Today's episode is all about how to master sales calls for high-ticket coaching programs, and it's a real skill. It's something I'm very, very passionate about because if you know how to sell, it'll make you better in every single aspect of your life, whether or not I'm trying to convince my 11-year-old that he actually needs to wear socks with his shoes to school, or if I'm having a friendly disagreement with my husband about this or that. And of course, at a core business level, when we can perfect and embrace and practice the skill of enrollment calls for our coaching programs, our business becomes so much better. It's going to be an action-packed episode. Before I hop into that, I want to make sure that you have heard about my upcoming masterclass, and that is called How to Use ChatGPT to Authentically Attract and Convert High-Quality Leads Online. If you are wondering and want to know more about a very powerful process that I use to create content that attracts my one true client, this is the exact process I teach the coaches in my Content That Converts program. Make sure you sign up for this masterclass. I give this masterclass frequently, and so all you need to do is head over to themillionairemakershow.com/masterclass, and you'll be able to see the next dates for which I will be hosting this very powerful masterclass. If you have not attended, you really want to get to this masterclass. I will show you how ChatGPT can really speed up and perfect all of your marketing efforts and really impact your ability to attract high-quality leads online with the speed and precision that only ChatGPT can give you. I want to start off today's discussion by talking about why high-ticket sales calls are crucial for coaches to be able to generate high-quality leads and to really grow the profitability and revenue of their coaching business. So first of all, this is something that you need to know. Coaching is sold through intimacy, especially high-ticket coaching packages. A person, in order for them to be able to pull their wallet out of their pocket and hand you over money for your methodologies and for your expertise in solving their problems, there has to be an intimate relationship there. Long gone are the days that you could host this really great big launch and sell a $4,000 or $5,000 coaching program with the click of the button, without anyone getting on an enrollment call and not having some real face-to-face with someone and to experience their vibe, to create intimacy there, to see what the rapport is. Because when people come to us for coaching, it's an intimate relationship. We're helping them typically with some of the hardest problems in their lives. Number two, the potential for higher revenue. Cash flow is really the gas fuel in this airplane of a business. And increasing your conversion rates on those sales calls makes growing your business so much easier. It's just one of those holes that you can plug in your business that when you plug the hole of actually learning the skill of sales calls, your whole business benefits from it. Your marketing's better, your sales are better, your bottom line is better. In today's day and age, in order to enroll people into a high-ticket coaching, a phone call is required. So you want to go in with the skills and the process to host this phone call in the most effective way for not only you, but for your potential prospect. You're going to be able to really get to know them, understand their problems, and then be able to prescribe the perfect coaching program for them that will actually meet them where they are and really give them what they want. So when I host enrollment calls, I literally have people get off these calls saying, Lindsey, through the series of questions that you have asked me on this phone call, I have had a massive breakthrough myself. And so, as a coach, it's a real service we can provide people to invite them on an enrollment call, to ask them a series of questions, because it also, hearing it from their own voice out into the world, can really help them understand where the gap is between where they are and actually where they want to be. Next, you have committed clients. When you just sell people a coaching program with the click of a button, people remain less committed because there is no intimacy there and there is no rapport there, and they're just buying another product. And it's hard to really see you as a human because they haven't interacted with you that way. And so when you sell coaching and are dedicated to the enrollment call process, the quality of your clients increase. You have to remember this, that recurring income and building a community in your coaching business is really going to allow you to scale that coaching business and to have more time, more money, more freedom, and more impact. I have a client, and she's a leadership coach who works with managers in high stress industries. When she came to me in the Content That Converts program, she was very uneasy about sales calls. She had a lot of beliefs growing up that asking for money was evil, that the people in the middle pew at church were the ones with the money, and so they were evil. And she really showed up to her coaching business like this. Now, she's an expert in her field. She has been helping those managers in high stress industries for over 20 years. But she was taking a step out to create her very own coaching business. And she was very, very uneasy about the sales call. She really also struggled with understanding her clients' real needs and goals. When she would get on the enrollment calls, she would really only ask surface level questions because she was a little bit nervous about her value or even how to dig deeper. And her whole focus was, I just really want to get a sale at the end of this call. And her enrollment calls were very much coming across like that. She would jump too quickly into explaining her program, and it didn't really resonate with the potential client's unique situation. It was very rinse and repeat. She also felt extremely uncomfortable talking about the pricing of her program. The number seemed too high to her, and she felt as though she was asking for too much. And as a result, she would often offer discounts or lower her price prematurely without the client even objecting. She finally reached out to me. I taught her my authentic enrollment call script. I shared with her the skills of active listening and learning how to ask deeper and more probing questions to really understand her clients' pain points, goals, and motivations. She realized that her clients were not buying a program, they were actually investing in her and her expertise. So it really allowed her to open up and start sharing more about her own experiences, her processes, her unique methodology for really helping these individuals, and the results that previous clients had achieved. When she started asking these questions and following an authentic enrollment call script, she started understanding her clients more. Her marketing became so much easier because she knew who she was talking to and she could really speak to their problems and their needs. So she starts converting more high ticket clients who are more committed, achieving better results, and even started referring her to others. It's a powerful story. It had an impact on her marketing and everything that she was doing to service her clients. Let's talk a little bit about this idea of high ticket sales calls being a real skill. Now, I actually run a done for you marketing agency for coaches where we really help them scale their online coaching business. We run media packages for Facebook and Instagram and consult them through having very successful launches. And so I'm coming from that background. Every time I get on a phone call with my client, I'm really able to sell them these services for my done for you agency. I never had a problem selling. I could always sell Facebook ads and YouTube ads and Instagram ads and my launch packages. It was never a problem. And so as I step into my coaching business and I start getting on the phone with people and not having that great of a conversion rate, I really realized how different it is to sell transformational coaching. It's not like selling Facebook ads or agency work because with those kind of products, you actually have the product itself or the service itself backing you up. So if I'm selling Facebook ads, yeah, they're buying my skills to know how to run an effective Facebook ad for your coaching business, but they're also understanding that Facebook ads are extremely powerful. And when you invest in them in the right way, they can really help you scale your business. So I'm standing behind that. When you sell transformational coaching, you have to understand that you're actually selling yourself and not a product. There's problems to be had here because if you don't buy the stuff that you're selling, if you don't believe in the value that you provide, if you don't believe these things, it can be nearly impossible to sell coaching to an end client because the tells will be there. You'll be sending out a vibe or doing nervous habits on the sales call that will tell that client that you're not entirely confident in what you are saying to them, and you will definitely lose your sell. So, what you have to know about selling coaching is that you have to believe everything that you are saying. You have to sell yourself first. The second thing is you really want to be understanding the client's pain points and goals. In order to sell coaching and your methodology and the process that you help people with, you really have to be able to address those pain points and goals in order to sell coaching because there is no product here. They are looking at it from their viewpoint, from their problem. And if you don't meet them there, they will not be paying you for your coaching. So it's essential that you speak to pain points and goals on these sales calls. Next, you want to be customizing your value proposition. I definitely recommend the use of sales scripts, but I'm not talking about the ability to pull up a Word document and be on a sales call and read this word for word. You want to be understanding and hearing what the prospect is saying so that you can customize the value proposition of your coaching program. What does that look like? A lot of people who come to me really struggle with knowing exactly what to post on social media. And so if I'm hearing that on a sales call, then you bet your bottom dollar that when it becomes time for me to prescribe my coaching program to them, I'm going to highlight that piece because I know it was a problem for them earlier in the conversation. So, sales is definitely a mindset thing. So, it's really important to go into your high ticket sales process really understanding your mindset and working on your mindset because that can definitely improve those conversion rates. So, there's a couple of things you want to keep in mind. Number one, an abundance mindset, seeing the wealth of opportunities available and not getting discouraged by missed sales calls or no's. And you remember that high ticket sales means larger revenue from a fewer clients. So, every no is closer to the next yes. Next, coaches need to really believe in the value they provide and price their services accordingly. This means overcoming any imposter syndrome or self doubt and realizing that their expertise and unique approach are worth a higher ticket price. You have to see your own value before others will see it. I always like to say your business is like a mirror. Look around and ask yourself, okay, who are you surrounded with? Do they value you? Because you are literally telling your clients and your prospects how to treat you by the way you show up. It all starts from the inside. Next, you got to work on your confidence and your assertiveness. Some of this is really how you show up. And people want someone with a plan, someone who can help them, someone who has confidence in their own abilities to actually help them with their transformation. And so, yes, there is a piece of confidence here that you want to be working on because people are very, very drawn to that. And then finally, you must, as with all things in life, have a growth mindset. You want to get on a lot of these calls and know that every single time you get on a call, even if 10 people say no to you, you are building a skill that will improve your bottom line and give you a real skill that you can use in so many areas of your life. So let's talk about the anatomy of a high conversion sales calls. And here's my step-by-step process. Number 1, you're always going to want to prep. So this preparation phase begins before the call even start. You're going to want to research your prospect. You're going to want to understand their needs, their pain points, and their motivations. And you really just want to be centered and set an agenda for the call and get ready to be successful. Pump yourself up, get your right mindset, go in as an expert, go in as a winner, and pick up the phone and ring, which brings me to a huge tip of mine. I used to close all of my enrollment calls on Zoom. I felt like I had a deeper connection and was able to build intimacy with my prospect by hosting this call on Zoom. Well, I had learned that you can actually have a higher conversion rate if you host your enrollment calls on the phone. And so I made that change. And the fact is, when you host enrollment calls on the phone, you're not really wondering about how am I coming across? Can I sit here and take notes? What are they thinking about my hair today? When you host these enrollment calls on the phone, it allows you to be very present with the person on the other side of the phone and really lead to a more present and powerful call that increases your conversion rates. So pick up the phone and we're going to call. And essentially, I always like to adjust the power in the room. So I will say, hey, do you mind telling me, was there something that I said or did on the masterclass that you attended that made you say, oh my gosh, I really need to get on this call? This puts me in an expert mode. Typically, they are sharing with you how you really helped them. And this shifts the power dynamic on the phone because suddenly it's like, okay, now that we have this straight, you're the one that got on my phone because I have some information that you are searching for. Next, we have the discovery portion of a sales call. This stage is all about asking the right questions. So you're going to want to write this down. There are 4 questions that I really want to get to the bottom of when I am in the middle of the discovery portion of a sales call. And that is, what do you want? Why is this important? Why don't you have it already? And what's at risk if you don't get it? And of course, I'm not asking these questions outright, but they certainly are the epitome and what I want to get out of these calls. The next step of the sales calls process is the prescribe portion. And we call it prescribe because it's just like when you go to the doctor and you walk into a doctor's office and you say, hey, I need help. My stomach hurts. And then right after you say this, you say, what do you recommend? And what is that doctor going to say on the other side of it? They're going to say, I don't even know what's wrong with you. And it's very similar to that, how you want to be showing up to these sales calls, understanding their problems, and then at the end, be able to prescribe the coaching program that's right for them. It should be very personalized based on the insights you gathered during the discovery phase. Next, after you prescribe, you're going to go ahead and handle any objections. coaches make a huge mistake. They will prescribe, and then when there's silence on the other end, either they really start lowering their value and saying, oh, but if that's too high, or they start backtracking, or they start throwing in more hours, or they overall just throw in the towel, that because this person didn't show up and say yes, 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 that they need to somehow backpedal. My biggest piece of advice is after you prescribe, then silence. And you really want to push the silence, and you're going to feel resistance here. You're going to want to cover the uncomfortable silence, but just don't. Sit in silence and be happy that they didn't say no right away, because what that silence means is, I'm thinking about it. So you're going to go ahead and handle objections. And then you're going to go ahead and close the call. You want to get that credit card on the phone if at all possible, because here's the situation. As you know, buying transformational coaching, you have to scoot around this little guy we call Mr. Ego. And the last thing the ego wants is to sign up for your coaching program. And so as soon as you get off the phone, all of those old stories, all of those old reasons about why life is okay right now and they don't need your coaching program suddenly pop up, and their head is filled of self-talk on why all the reasons are no, when you have now just spent 45 minutes with this prospect getting real clarity around that. And so you want to get the credit card on the phone if at all possible. At least, hey, let's set up a calendar time so they've made another commitment with you. And then, of course, finally, you want to have follow-up after the call. You don't, even if they say no, it just means probably not right now. You want to make sure that you have a strong follow-up strategy. So that is my sales call script in a nutshell. That is really how you want to be handling these sales calls. I want to get into this portion of the podcast where we talk about how ChatGPT being able to assist you with your sales call process. So here's my big tip on today's podcast is to go to ChatGPT and have it create a sales script for you. Ask it to customize it to your style and the specifics of your high ticket program and your customer. When ChatGPT spits this back out, it will really allow you some insights and some other ideas on how you can describe the value to your prospects on the other side. We had a question come in, and if you want to ask me a question, I love to answer these questions. Just head over to themillionairemakershow.com and hit the question button. I'd love to hear from you. So today's question is, hey, Lindsey, what are some common mistakes to avoid during high ticket sales calls? So I got a couple of recommendations for you. Number one, you don't want to be showing up in a desperate energy. That will lead you to be super pushy and salesy, and that's an immediate turnoff when it comes to selling coaching programs. Next, you want to make sure you are listening more than talking. If you are talking more than 90% of your sales call, you are talking too much. You should really only be talking at the beginning, asking these questions, parroting back what they're saying, and then for your prescription at the end. That's when the majority of your talking should be happening. And then finally, people not following up. You spend a lot of time and marketing dollars and effort to get these individuals to actually talk to you. Trust me, it's worth a good follow-up process. We're going to have some more sales call episodes. You can tell I'm very, very passionate about this topic. I can't stress enough about how serious you want to be taking your sales calls. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Millionaire Maker Show. Today, we talked about the importance of high-ticket sales calls for coaches. I shared with you a client story where she really showed up. She was an expert, but she had to really embrace that and know it, and it really resulted in more revenue for her business. I shared with you my anatomy of a high conversion sales calls, and I gave you my best tip for using ChatGPT to help you even more in this area. So thank you for listening. If you find value here, please go and subscribe. Leave me a review. I'd really appreciate it. And make sure you go and hit up my masterclass. I teach this masterclass on how to attract high quality leads with ChatGPT and content marketing. Go and catch that masterclass by going to themillionairemakershow.com/masterclass. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. I'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Millionaire Maker Show with master business coach and creator of the Millionaire Maker Coaching Funnel, Lindsey Anderson. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Until next time.